Hello and welcome to this week's video on basic drawing. This week we're going to be looking at isometric drawing. So we're going to be producing three basic shapes hopefully. So a basic square or cube, and then a cube with a couple more details involving either recesses or extrusions, and then we'll look at the house with the angled section on the roof. If you haven't already done the engager for this week, then it might be worth just doing that engager now, which can be found on the front of the booklet, and is the Scrabble engager. So, if you have done the engagers now, I said in the last video we'd look at the answers for them. So, the answers for last week's engager and this week's engager. So, last week we were looking at the simple question of what type of drawing style is this. This will be 1 point perspective as everything is moving in to 1 point, the vanishing point there. And then we come to the perspective question over here in terms of the Scrabble. So obviously if I've written out perspective and then made up the word and put the correct numbers assigned to it, the only trick in this one was there was a section on here about the first P being a triple letter word, and therefore the P would be worth 9 rather than 3, and hopefully your total should come to 26. So back to this week's work on isometric drawing. So what we're going to be producing is something like this. And all you're going to need for this is a ruler and a pencil. Now, I would get the solution sheet up on your phone or electronic device or computer in the first place, just so you can see the numbers on here that I've assigned to each of the sections. The cube is the simplest one to do, so we'll start off with the cube. And I'm going to start it off at 3 from the top. So I'm just going to count down. Start off will be 0 up there at the top line. So 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines. Whenever you see me talking about the numbers, effectively I'm counting lines. So all the vertical lines running up will be the y-axis, the x-axis runs across to the right, the z-axis runs to the left. So effectively we're counting whole units down here. So that will be 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, 4 box, 5 box, 6 box, or you can count the lines, and it works exactly the same as long as you start from the 0 point. So we're going to start off up here with this datum. So I'll just move that sheet out of the way and get this one up. So coming down from the top, 1, 2, 3, that's going to be my datum there. And this cube here is going to be 5 on all the outside edges. So from there, I'm going to count across from this datum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives us our second point. So what we've done there is we've gone from this section to the top edge, and that's our 5. And then we're going to do the same down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've actually counted 6 there. Simple way of just checking across would be, there we go, because these should line up, run across. And again, you can just project vertically, so you can either look down that line there where the corners run across, or you can count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives us all the top edge there. So again, just use a ruler, draw them in. You've got to stay on the lines with this or it won't work. Drawn those edges there, and then we're going to count down 5 at this side. We'll come down from that front edge there, that would be 5, and we'll come down that edge 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives us the front corner there. And again, you can either count down or you can just follow the lines back now, because you know where they're going to join up. So you just follow it across on this one, and you know that they're going to line up. So that's a really straightforward way of doing the cube. If you do feel like shading them in using 3-tone shading, then that's fine. So that's the cube up at the top. The next item we're going to look at is this cube with the recess and with the extrusion. Now we're going to do this one 6 by 6, 9 on that section, And that's the first bit we're going to draw it out. We won't worry about this at the moment. We'll just draw it out, the basic frame of it. So that would be 9 at the back as well. That would be 9. That would be 6. All these around here will be 6. I'm going to come down from the top, and we're going to come down 8. So we miss this object here. So start there at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that gives us our start point. Then from there, we're going to go across 6 to draw this top line. So we're starting up there on there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it gives us our second point. From there, we'll come down the front edge, 6 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And then we're going to go across 9. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm just going to start drawing in that shape now, because we should be able to actually project these quite quickly. If you are projecting, you can just draw them faintly in for a start and then go over them afterwards. If I follow that line along there, that looks like that's where that meets. So this is a little bit of a quicker way than counting everything out once you get used to it. And again, follow these lines across here. I can work out where they're going to meet without counting everything out, because obviously that can become a little bit tedious. Then, just for the sake of this, draw the full box on here. I would actually personally just draw on the extrusion at this stage, but I'll leave it at that for now, because it will be simpler from an explaining point of view. Right, so doing the little instep on the side here, we're going to set that little instep in 1 from the edge. So we're basically going to create a little border around there. We'll just draw that in. Then again, we're just going to do the instep, the recess, 1 further in. Now, because it's isometric, because it's on an angle, we're only going to see 2 sides of this. So we can have a line in there, and again, we'll just come in 1. And that gives us the recess, as is over here. So 1 thickness and then step in 1. I need it on the 2 bottom sides. For this projection out of the side, we're going to do this projection 2 by 2. So the reason we've gone for 6 on the sides is it's quite easily divisible by 3. So if we've got the 2 section in the middle, we're coming in 2, so 1, 2, coming down from the top, 1, 2, and that allows us to basically have this middle section there. And then we're going to project it across 3, so we're going to come this way 3, so 1, 2, 3, that brings us to the front edge there, and then draw another square and just join it up. So at the moment that's obviously showing it as if it was almost made of glass, so you could see through it. So we can then just remove some of the other lines from the back. We'll just go over that a bit more solidly with the pencil. You will get the hang of this quite quickly, what we're doing. It's fairly straightforward doing the cube exercises. It only gets a little bit trickier when we move on to angles. So for instance with the house, that has got one tricky section on the roof, and if you start drawing curves on, because they all become ellipses, and there are some slightly more complex methods of drawing them. So obviously I've drawn the second shape on there, so now we're going to move on to the house. So the house, we're going to start off with the datum point down there. We're going to do the house 6 along the base, 5 high, 5 along the front, just the edge of the garage. We'll do the garage 4 wide along there, and the roof we will do 3 up from there. Again, you can just check the solution sheet if you need any other information. It's 6 down at the front, so that's going to be 6 as well. And it should be fairly straightforward when I start taking you through how to draw it. So we're going to start counting from the edge here to find this front corner of the datum. So we're going to come across 6 on this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to have to go up a little bit just to find a cross section for the lines. So just come off that border there. So that's the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will bring us back to the edge there. Draw that line in. Then I'm going to go up 5, as you can see over here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, you can work out where it's going to join on, or you can count, just to save you listening to my voice, droning on and counting constantly. I'm just going to start projecting and finding them. So across the bottom there, I'm going to be looking at 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw that one in. Again, just find where the house joins. Lines together. So that's drawn as the front of the house. I just join them up, so just following it around on the lines. And we've then got the garage. Now the garage, we're not going to quite go up to the top house. We're only going to go up for the garage 4, and we're going to come across 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us a corner there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us the height, and then we can just join it up. Again, the garage door is fairly simple. We'll just, to get this little edge round here, put a bit of a border on. We'll just come in one set of squares, draw it in, join it up, and then you can just pop on some lines for the roller shutter in there. The door can just be done by finding the middle, so just coming in 2 because it's 5 wide. So we'll just draw door in there, so 2 in from each side, 2 high. The windows, again, if we just come up here onto the top, and we'll just pick some cubes that being 5 wide where they're offset. You can put a bit of a cross in there if you want for the windows. So that's fairly straightforward detailing. The tricky bit on this one is the roof to a certain extent. So with the roof, because we're going to a triangle, if it's 3 high, the triangle, we're just going to count up 3. So 1, 2, 3. That gives us where the top of the roof is going to touch. So we'll just put a faint line in there, that line in there. We are going to remove that. And we need to find the middle of the house. So it's 6 wide along there. So if we come along 3, so 1, 2, 3, that finds the middle of the triangle. And then from there, draw a line to join the front, a line to join the back. Front of the house is 5 wide, therefore the roof along the ridge must be 5. So from there we can just come along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Join that up, and then we can run the angle down to the front, and that gives us 2 parallel lines running on a slightly offset angle. From there, just take the rubber, we rub out the lines we don't need. No need to draw the back, we won't see it on that angle. And then the garage is just going to come along here, 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and at that point it just disappears behind. So there you have it, 3 isometric shapes. You've got obviously a cube with the recess and the extrusion, and then we've moved on to the slightly more challenging house with an angled section. Once you've done that, you can use thick and thin just to highlight where the different sections are and make them stand out a bit more, and that's a technique you've covered in different videos before. Right, good luck.